United States of America is the most powerful nation on earth.
This right now is the greatest country on earth.
Once seen as a land of opportunities, America has become a land of dark mysteries due to recent discoveries.
The $1 million treasure found after a decade-long search, a chest believed to be filled with gold coins and jewelry unearthed in the Rocky Mountains.
Forever changed the lives of many who tried to find it.
I think Forrest wanted to become a legend, and I actually think he succeeded. He was described as a modern-day Indiana Jones.
He wrote a 24-line poem guiding people to the location of the treasure.
Well, I made it hard deliberately. If it was easy, anyone could do it.
He then released his treasure hunt to the world and encouraged anyone and everyone to go out and to search for his hidden treasure. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever heard.
I'm in Central America at the entrance to one of the world's most fascinating archaeological discoveries.
Look up there, look at that.
I'm talking about unexplainable biblical finds, secrets hidden within the ancient tombs, and eerie discoveries that will change your beliefs.
You can see some of these places, thousands of skeletons, some with bits of clothing hanging off of them.
So, tag along for the most controversial finds of American history that will make you want to question reality. Ever since it was first discovered in the 1300s, the legitimacy of this artifact has been constantly questioned, and it is perhaps the most significant discovery in the Western world, known as the Shroud of Turin.
The mysterious Shroud of Turin is something that has baffled scientists for years and been a source of great wonder to faithful all over the world.
It allegedly depicts an imprint of a certain important human.
The Shroud of Turin is this amazing relic. At bottom, it's a piece of cloth. It shows a very faint sort of image of a crucified man.
Now, of course, with a figure as prominent as him, there's bound to be a lot of debate whether or not this fabric is even real. To determine its authenticity, scientists discovered that it was most likely made between 1260 and 1390. Whether or not it's of the religious figure is debatable, unlike this next discovery.
The shroud is believed to be a holy relic because you don't get much more holy than the actual blood of Jesus.
Saddle Ridge Hoard. In 2013, a couple in California stumbled upon 8 cans filled with 1,427 gold coins, dating from 1847 to 1894.
These are all 1892 San Francisco Mint $20 gold pieces, almost an ounce of gold.
This accidental discovery was estimated to be worth over $10 million.
I could tell that this was something that we'd never seen before.
The hoard included some extraordinarily rare pieces, such as the 1866 S No Motto Double Eagle, valued at around $1 million.
The 1866 S No Motto 20 is the star of the show.
The hoard has fascinated historians and treasure enthusiasts alike, with various theories regarding its origins. Many speculated that it was deliberately hidden by outlaws or simply buried for safekeeping by an unknown wealthy individual. But no matter where they looked, they found nothing, making it an American mystery.
The greatest North American buried treasure find ever.
Mysterious pattern. Back in 1990, a mysterious pattern appeared all over the Oregon desert. And what makes it so cryptic is the fact that it was found on a dried-up lake bed.
It has everybody talking. I mean, this is just something that it chills you.
It was dubbed as the Sri Yantra design due to its similarity with Hinduism or Tantric Buddhism.
It's a symbol that aids in meditation, and it's called a yantra. And what it is a diagram that helps the mind focus on the point of meditation.
Many conspiracy theorists speculate it to be the work of extraterrestrials, as no one has ever provided a clear answer.
From point to point is exactly 11.5 degrees.
Exactly.
Exactly. And the outer ones, they're exactly 23 degrees apart. Exactly.
No variation.
No variation.
Even military officials who discovered the pattern said they were mystified by it.
It's incredibly time-consuming. A lot of expertise involved, had to take a long period of time and maybe a lot of money.
But such strange discoveries don't only exist in America, like this next one that's enough to give anyone nightmares. Tied mummy. Discovering a mummy is surely fascinating, but one that looks like this is quite the sight to behold. Archaeologists in Peru found a male mummy tied up by a bunch of ropes in a fetal position. His hands were covering his face almost entirely. Although it is uncertain how it happened, experts think he met a shameful end, hence the hands covering the face. The mummy is estimated to be more than 800 years old, which makes this discovery even more incredible. And to be frank with you, this is how I lay in bed when I see people watching my videos who aren't subscribing to my channel. Cyclops skull. Farmhands in the Midwest made a chilling discovery that left them totally shocked. While digging to plant crops, their shovel hit something, so they dug further and found a massive skull with a hole in the middle of the forehead. They didn't know, but they discovered the remains of a cyclops, giants that once roamed these lands.
Skeleton looked sort of human-like, only much bigger and a little stranger. Next thing you know, you have a cyclops.
Experts tested it and found it was 9 feet tall and weighed about 6 tons. Some scientists also said that it could have been a genetic deformity called cyclopia. Yet to this day, there isn't a definitive answer.
Since they didn't know what dinosaurs looked like or what other creatures looked like, they would assemble them to look like men. The rib cages would be put together, and these would be very, very big creatures.
The Crystal Maiden.
Look up there. Look at that. Jagged shapes. Looks like teeth.
In Belize, at the Aktun Tunikil Muknal Cave, has emerged the enigmatic Crystal Maiden.
I'm in Central America at the entrance to one of the world's most fascinating archaeological discoveries.
This ancient Mayan cave was discovered back in the 1980s, and they believe it to be a ritual site due to the Mayan traditions. And this maiden was an offering to the gods.
Oh, wow. Another one of these. That's amazing.
Here we have the small skull. And what's interesting on this skull is the hole that you can see on top of it.
She has been dubbed as the Crystal Maiden because over the years, her entire structure crystallized through a process called calcification. The Mayans may not exist anymore, but what they've left behind sure is fascinating. King Tut. After 85 years since the discovery of King Tutankhamun's golden enshrined tomb, the 3,000-year-old pharaoh's mummy was publicly displayed for the first time. Archaeologists carefully revealed the pharaoh's linen-wrapped mummy from its stone sarcophagus. Then they placed it in a climate-controlled glass box within the tomb.
There is this amazing helmet mask of solid gold inlaid with glass.
Dr. Zawi Hawass, a renowned archaeologist, explained that the move aimed to preserve the mummy as public access could lead to its deterioration due to humidity.
We moved the mummy from the tomb or from the sarcophagus to this case is to preserve the mummy.
The ongoing quest to unravel King Tut's mysteries still continues, as scientists have utilized CT scanning technology to examine his remains.
Nobody had ever seen this before. A pharaoh laid exactly as he had been by the priests 3,500 years ago.
Labyrinth of Bones. Right under the busy streets of Paris, there's this mysterious place called the Catacombs. Believe it or not, they were actually quarries. But these winding tunnels gained a lot of fame in the 18th century when the remains of millions found a final resting place within their dark recesses.
When you walk in there, you'll see bones stacked. They're everywhere. You'll have thigh bones stacked up in places. You'll have skulls stacked in other places.
Going down this otherworldly maze, visitors will encounter an unbelievable spectacle.
There are lined along the walls thousands of skeletons, some with bits of clothing hanging off of them.
They'll see neatly arranged bones forming intricate patterns along the narrow passages. Some people even like to explore these catacombs. Let me know in the comments if you would do the same. Alien fetus. A small city in central Mexico was startled by a creature that to this day remains unidentified. In 2007, a weird small creature was found trapped inside a bear trap. The creature was pale in color, had a tail and large luminous eyes. The origin is unknown, as its DNA remains unidentified, and what species it belongs to is a complete mystery.
When you hold this creature in your hands, you know that you have a real mystery here.
Some claim it to be a hoax, while others believe it to be evidence of extraterrestrial life.
This Metapex specimen, I think it's the most interesting that I have seen in all my career.
SS Central America. Known as the Ship of Gold, this side-wheel steamer sank in 1857 during a hurricane, taking down with it a fortune in gold.
This is something that
in hundreds of years that people will still be talking about. So it really is a once-in-a-lifetime situation.
Only to be discovered again in 1988 by the Columbus America Discovery Group led by Tommy Gregory Thompson. But this wasn't just any shipwreck, as it was laden with gold coins, bars, and artifacts worth $150 million.
There are a little bit over 3,100 gold coins, over 10,000 silver coins, over 1,000 ounces of gold dust, and 45 ingots.
Recovering the treasure involved innovative techniques and remote-operated vehicles. And controversy was just around the corner in the shape of legal battles, which resulted in everything being claimed by the insurance company. Ice Maiden. Russian archaeologists, led by Dr. Natalia Polosmak, were excavating a burial site near the Altai Mountains, where they found a giant block of ice concealing the mummified remains of a 25-year-old princess, dubbed the Siberian Ice Maiden. Surrounded by 6 carefully arranged horses and cloaked in silk and wool, it meant that she was no ordinary woman. But what truly captivated the archaeologists were the intricate designs inked into her skin. They saw a brilliant blue tattoo of a magnificent griffin-like creature on her shoulder, and to this day, the Ice Maiden remains as one of the most astonishing finds in human history. Toland Man. A family of farmers were digging in a nearby bog when they came across something that made them shiver in fear.
Hey, stop!
It was the remains of someone ancient, with no clothing and a rope attached to him. They knew it was no ordinary find.
His wife said, no, take care, it might be something interesting.
The unique conditions of the bog most likely helped in the body's preservation. In fact, the body was so well preserved that the locals who found it thought it was a recent incident.
The body was so well preserved, made them believe that there was a recently dead person.
But no, this person was 2,400 years old. What took place here over 2,000 years ago? Perhaps we will never know. T-Rex found. A Tyrannosaurus was found in southern Alberta, Canada, and the reason it is the first of its kind is because of what was found inside of the stomach of the dinosaur.
I knew right away that, this was a unique and unusual discovery. The Tyrannosaurus skeleton with prey items preserved inside the stomach region had never been found before.
Experts found that inside this extinct animal were the remains of a T-Rex.
Based on the internal structure of the bones, we know that the prey items, the chili pest feet, came from individuals that were yearlings, so barely a year of age.
You know, those mean-looking dinosaurs that are kinda scary in the movies? Yeah, that one. Seems like it lost to this animal, but it did provide information on what went on during the prehistoric era.
There's still many significant discoveries to be made for years to come.
Curse of Pompeii. Frozen in time since 79 AD, these men appear as if time hasn't touched them. Discovered in Pompeii, archaeologists found 2 perfectly preserved individuals in the moment of their demise. They were so well preserved that scientists could tell their ages and what they were wearing.
We can know the age because for the growing of the bone.
Pompeii met its end when Mount Vesuvius erupted, and a blanket of thick ash covered the entire city. And like the whole city, these 2 also got caught up in it. The Kinderhook Enigma. A group of men were excavating an Indian mound near Kinderhook, Illinois in 1843, when instead of the usual arrowheads or pottery shards, they unearthed something truly baffling. They found 6 bell-shaped plates lying there beneath the dirt, covered in a series of confusing inscriptions. Was this a forgotten chapter of Native American history, a relic from an extraterrestrial visit, or a deliberate hoax? The mystery has captured the imagination of researchers and mythbusters for nearly 2 centuries. Some say it has biblical significance. However, attempts to understand the plate's script have led nowhere, making people believe that they might have been written by beings other than humans. Ginger Man. For over a century, the British Museum has showcased the earliest mummified remains ever seen by the public, the Ghibelline, or the Ginger Man. Discovered in 1896 at Ghibelline, Egypt, the body was buried in the warm desert sands. Dubbed the Ginger Man due to the color of his hair, he was a young male of about 18 to 20 years old. A CAT scan in 2012 revealed a mark that they believe was the cause of his demise and later buried to hide the evidence. But the desert sun and dry, hot sand quickly evaporated any water from his body, hence preserving him.
Gabaline man would have inspired ancient Egyptians. Their bodies too could last forever into eternity. It's a truly spectacular discovery. It tells us where mummification started.
Mummified crops. In 2019, during an excavation in Egypt, 10 mummified crocodiles were discovered buried just a few feet underground. The site contained scattered crocodile bones, and to make matters more difficult for the archaeologists, they were buried together in close proximity. But most surprisingly, one of the crocodiles was so well preserved that it is now a centerpiece at the British Museum.
The crocodile mummy is one of the most amazing things in our collection. It is the largest mummy that the British Museum owns.
The largest mummy in their collection, and it had hatchlings on its back. Although determining its gender after millennia proved challenging, scientists have speculated that it was a female crocodile.
It's a fabulous piece. It's absolutely one of the most amazing artifacts.
4,000-year-old mummy. In a shocking archaeological discovery, a mummy dating back over 1,000 years before King Tut was discovered in Egypt.
A beautiful mummy of a man completely covered with layers of gold.
The sarcophagus was buried underneath the ground for 4,000 years before it finally emerged. Egyptologists have identified him as Hecatophus, making him the oldest non-royal mummified person ever found in Egypt. The hieroglyphics provided valuable insight into the life of this ancient individual. Hecatophus found his eternal resting place in Saqqara, a site near the former capital of ancient Egypt, unveiling yet another captivating chapter of Egypt's rich history.
Saqqara is a very important place. It reveals many important treasures.
Seti. Seti I is indeed considered one of the most well-preserved mummies from ancient Egypt, and the way they preserved him is remarkable.
I always looked at his mummy and I said, this is no mummy, this is a sleeping beauty.
Meticulous and sophisticated embalming techniques were employed by the ancient Egyptians. The process involved the careful removal of parts, which were then preserved separately. The body was dehydrated using natron to prevent decay. Linen wrappings soaked in resin were tightly wrapped around the body, ensuring its preservation. But the tomb's environment also played a crucial role, as the dry and sealed conditions helped to prevent deterioration. Vampire skeletons. You will be shocked to learn that the concept of vampires is not new, and that they might have existed. Scientists did different excavations in Bulgaria when they found many 700-year-old burials filled with remains. But it was the two odd burials that caught their attention the most. Rods were found inside of them, and according to folklore, only vampires were given such send-offs. This was likely done to make sure they never returned to the living world, and it looks like it worked. Cyclops. A hiker discovered an entrance and came across a site that could signal the end of times. On the wall of the cave, he found a face that resembled a cyclops. Its mouth and nose looked eerily human, but the one eye in the middle of the face is what has been troubling people online. As soon as the video surfaced, people began talking about how this cave could very well be associated with religious doctrines. The entire cave looked abandoned, which just made it even more creepy. Now, I don't know about you, but it is possible those books were right. The Holy Grail. This time, archaeologists got their hands on some riches. In the tomb of Liu He, a real treasure was discovered. There were 2,000-year-old gold tablets and gold swords adorned with jade and perfectly preserved artifacts. What made these tablets truly remarkable was their size, each weighing a hefty 256 grams. That's twice the weight of most smartphones nowadays. The amount of riches showed that Liu He belonged to a high social standing of his time, and quite literally took everything he possessed with him. Old Man of the Lake. It's one of the most captivating natural phenomena that's located in Oregon's Crater Lake. A full-size tree stump, roughly 30 feet in length, that's been bobbing vertically in the lake for more than a century. Yeah, 100 years! What makes it so intriguing is its uncanny stability, defying what one would expect from a floating piece of wood. no one has been able to explain why or how it continues to float upright, even after being closely monitored by scientists since 1896. Now, the log has become an American landmark and a popular tourist attraction.
He kind of became a bit of a celebrity, I guess, of Crater Lake.
Cuverdale Hoard. Discovered by laborers who were repairing a river embankment in Lancashire, England, the Cuverdale Hoard is considered one of the largest hoards of Viking silver ever found outside of Scandinavia. Scholars believe it was buried between 905 and 910 AD during the Viking invasions of England, possibly as a religious offering or as concealed wealth. The hoard consisted of over 8,600 items, including coins, jewelry, ingots, and other precious metal objects. The majority of the artifacts were silver pennies and fragments from various parts of Europe. And as usual, it's being kept in the British Museum. How unexpected. Tomb of Messiah. What you're looking at is considered to be the final resting place of Jesus of Nazareth. But I say considered because they haven't been able to prove it yet. Although some do say that the names and location match what is known from the doctrines, others are far more skeptical. It was revealed in 1980, and ever since then, the arguments surrounding the tomb have not yet reached anything conclusive. Unicorn Skull. It may sound like a bunch of fantasy gibberish to you, but let me assure you that an alleged unicorn skull was actually found by a man digging in his backyard. It was buried just under a few feet of ground and seemed to be rather well preserved. There was even an arrowhead stuck inside one of its sockets. People on the internet were quick to react and said that this unicorn was most likely hunted by ancient warriors. I have my reservations about that, as even the scientists are having a hard time explaining this one. Subscribers' pick of the day. This picture was sent to us by a subscriber, and I must say, it's quite intriguing to look at. The photo shows the skeletal remains of a real giant, but keep it a secret, because they're listening. In 2015, news came out that an alleged 5-meter or 16.5-foot-long skeleton was discovered in Australia. The gigantic hominid was found near the ancient ruins of a megalithic civilization, and this revelation spread like wildfire all over the internet. Even researchers and university professors got involved, but some keen-eyed individuals saw the truth. It turns out that the site that originally posted it had left a disclaimer saying it was fictional and satirical. But keeping in mind evidence like these, many people believe that giants did once exist, and that some still do.